roads across our viewing area have been slick and icy from the sleet and the freezing rain from over the weekend.
And that is because those snow plows have been out and about all morning long.
That you need to be careful. Don't be too confident.
If you take a look, we've got a crew here clearing the side rocks.
Your time, especially on those secondary roads that haven't been treated fully just yet.
And we're monitoring road conditions here in the WRAL Storm Tracker.
Really, we have our team coverage of this with our teams out on the road to show you what things look like.
And I think we are all ready to say goodbye to this winter storm. But right now, we're tracking the very end of the precipitation moving out.
We have a lot of updates to get to. WRAL News at 8 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Good morning. A lot of updates to get to as we say goodbye to this winter storm. We have team coverage to keep you updated. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine. Yes, starting off the morning here, you can see with some gray skies. So let's get you updated right now. There are tens of thousands of power outages across North Carolina, including outages in Wayne, Wilson, Sampson, Cumberland, and Chatham counties. Secondary roads are icy and slippery, and there are more than 90 flight cancellations at RDU this morning. That's according to FlightAware.
We have team coverage this morning as we track the cold temperatures and road conditions. Let's start with meteorologist Amy Wilmer in the WRAL Survey Weather Center tracking it all for us.
Take a look at this. This is what we like to see. Crews working hard in downtown Raleigh, clearing the street here. They're also clearing the sidewalks as well. So folks are still clearing the roads. If you can stay off the roads for just a little bit longer, that would help them do their job a lot easier. I know some of the side roads still are completely covered. We've seen that from some of our storm tracker coverage this morning. So here's what's new this morning. The precip, it is gone. We're done with the precip for now, but roads are still rough, especially the neighborhood streets. A lot of the main roads, the crews are doing a great job at clearing those. And we do have some power outages. Those numbers have been fluctuating, so we're letting the news folks handle that. But we do have some power outages. I know we did have at least one tree down on some power lines that caused some power outages in parts of Wake County. But here's the precipitation. It's along the coast now. It's moving out of here. So we're done with that for now, which is good news. But now we'll have to talk about the very cold air that's going to settle in. It's not that cold right now. Temperatures are right at freezing. So we're seeing a lot of melting happening, a lot of dripping from the ice in the trees. Right now it's 32 in Raleigh, 33 in Fayetteville. It's 34 degrees right now in Clinton. So it's still cold, and it's going to feel pretty cold today because we'll have the wind that's going to pick up throughout the day. We'll also see some more sunshine. I know it's pretty gray out right now, but we'll see more and more sun. That's going to help with the melting as well. High temperatures today will be in the upper 30s, but it'll feel colder because we'll have a fairly gusty wind. And then a weather alert day tonight. It's tomorrow morning because we have a cold weather advisory. That's new this morning. It's going to be very cold with lows in the single digits and teens. And then the wind chill will be even colder than that. So this is some dangerous cold air that will be with us overnight tonight. Here's the actual lows for tonight. We could get down to 3 in Roxborough, 12 for the low temperature in Raleigh. So bitterly cold starting tomorrow. I'll talk about how long those cold temperatures could stick around coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth. Amy. Welcome, Amy, to the 8 o'clock hour. Hey, we want to start with this live look at I-87 and New Hope Road. There was a crash on the northbound lane earlier, but that's completely cleared. We're not seeing any delays in the area. But this is indicative of what we're seeing on all of our major interstates this morning. Plenty of pavement. It's those secondary roads that still remain a little icy and slippery. So if a secondary road like Pool Road, your neighborhood roads, part of your morning commute, just know you have to be careful as you leave the house this morning. What we're seeing, we're picking up some minor delays on all of our major routes, and that's because people are taking it easy out there. We're looking at 1 to 2 minutes whether you're coming in from Durham, Apex, Wake Forest, Knightdale, Garner, Johnston County. Nothing that's going to make you late this morning. Similarly, we're seeing those slowdowns as well. Minor slowdowns, albeit. Here you go, 5-minute delay, mainly if you're coming in from Wake Forest to Durham, you're looking at a 5-minute delay coming in on Highway 98, but all the other routes are relatively delay-free, and again, people are taking it easy. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, we're going to pull you into the WRAL Live Center to kind of show you the power outage situation, specifically from Duke Energy's perspective. Right now, they're tracking about 34,278 customers statewide that are without power right now, and this map kind of shows you where most of them are, mostly out to the west. But if we look toward like the Triangle area, closer to where we are, I mean, just little pockets of outages that are there as well as in Fayetteville. If we want to take a better look at outages in the state, not just from Duke Energy's perspective, but other places. Let me hit refresh here because I think this might be a little out of date. PowerOutage.us usually is pretty good about having the outages there, but I don't think it's tracking completely everything, because you'll notice right here it says there are 23,000, which is obviously significantly less than what that Duke Energy map is. So we'll continue to follow that. But one just reminder, though, as we heard from Duke Energy, is that if you're going to be out there driving today and you see the teams out there trying to restore the power, give them some extra space, because they want to be safe, but they want you to be safe as well.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Well, we have crews all over the viewing area right now giving us an update on conditions. So let's get right out to WRAL's Monica Casey, who is live in Chapel Hill, that is, on the roads. Casey, Monica, thank you so much for being with us. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing out there.
Good morning. We just got to UNC Chapel Hill's campus. Let me flip the camera around so you can see what we are seeing. We have been following these plows for a couple of miles. We started over on NC 54 and then made our way here. And I was actually surprised at how good the roads look in that area, but it certainly doesn't mean they're good in every area. And just because you can't see something on the road doesn't mean clear ice might not be there. Now, in terms of the plows and the work that they're doing, I could actually hear them starting outside my window around 6 this morning. So they are working hard out here in Orange County. In an update from the sheriff posted to his social media this morning, he reminded people to be careful out on the roads and said he'd send another update on the more Orange County roads soon. But here in Chapel Hill, this is what we're seeing, that winter mess, winter muck that's left on the roads that plows are doing their best to clear. Live in Chapel Hill, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
And of course, we've been monitoring road conditions since we've been on the air at 4 o'clock this morning. We've seen a rather low traffic volume, which is a good thing. Let's get an update now on road conditions and any traffic incidents. And First Sergeant Christopher Knox with the State Highway Patrol. Sergeant Knox, great to see you there, friend.
Absolutely. Good morning.
So listen, how busy were state troopers overnight, considering the hazardous driving conditions around that time?
You know, we really were fortunate with the timing of this storm. We find that on weekends, we do tend to get a little bit of a break because people don't have to be out. And so our call volume was up for sure. But fortunately, because of it being a weekend storm, it really did help our members to stay on top of calls that were coming in through the weekend.
Yeah, so meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner and Chris Michaels have been telling us we're expecting some sunshine and warmer temperatures, which will help a lot. But where are state troopers seeing the worst road conditions right now?
Yeah, we're still seeing problems. As you've shown all morning, our primary routes are getting pretty good, but there's still the spots, maybe at an exit ramp, and then those secondary roads are still primarily covered. These at the beginning of a storm and the end of a storm is when we see some of our worst wrecks, because you get that false sense of security. You might be on an interstate, it might be clear, you're maintaining a higher speed, closer to the speed limit than you would during a storm's, while the snow or sleet's falling. And then you transition from a road that's clear to a road that's not, and that's when we see some serious collisions. So maintain your guard this morning, continuing to watch for those slick spots, and expect there to still be problem areas.
Yeah, I was in that situation yesterday. I was traveling on a main road, and then I got to my neighborhood road, and there was sleet and ice everywhere. Fortunately, I was able to get home. So you usually ramp up when storms like this hit in terms of staffing. What did you learn from past storms that helped you out this time?
Yeah, so our state is so diverse. The way storms hit, the type of storms, the way the topography affects our calls. It's just so dynamic. And so during a hurricane, we can ramp up in certain areas of the state. We know where it's going to hit. We know the affected areas. But a storm like this really affected the whole state. So it's really moving our members from when they're supposed to be out to when the storm's arriving and when we expect the most calls, versus moving people from one area to another. So, these storms are challenging, but we really did good making it through this. ensuring our troopers were staffed well, but also our communication centers that are our frontline members that are answering those calls for people's help.
First Sergeant Christopher Knox with the State Highway Patrol. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you to all the troopers who are keeping us safe out there.
Thank you, guys.
Laura?
All right, well, we have much more news just ahead now. Flight cancellations at RDU. Nearly 100 flights have been affected by icy weather. What you should know before heading out to the airport this morning. Amy?
Well, some of the roads are still pretty bad. We can take a look at some of those. This is a live look at Lewisburg. The main road here is starting to look a little bit more clear, but right here is a bridge that's totally covered in some ice, so be careful out there. We're going to talk more about the dangerously cold temperatures that settle in coming up. Welcome back. I'm meteorologist in for Amy Wilmoth, in for Elizabeth. Just for a little bit, the precipitation is gone, so that's the good news. The bad news is the roads are still bad in some spots. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh. The crew's working really hard to clear some of that sleet off the road. Doing a really good job at that. A lot of the crews are working hard, so just keep your distance from them. Let them get their work done this morning. Temperatures are right around freezing, so we are seeing some melting across the area. 32 is the current temperature in Raleigh. It's 32 in Irwin, 34 in Rayford, 34 in Clinton right now. So today we do expect it to be a day of melting. The sun's eventually going to come out. Temperatures climb into the upper 30s and low 40s. But anything that melts today, if there's anything left on the roads, and there will be, there's a lot out there, it's going to refreeze overnight tonight. We have some very cold Arctic air that arrives. Take a look at this. This is the cold air that is going to be moving in overnight tonight. We have a cold weather advisory in place because it's going to be so cold. Weather alert days will continue through Tuesday. Look at that low overnight tonight, down to 12 degrees. The wind chill down into the single digits, Ken.
Oh, man. So listen, here in the WRAL Traffic Center, we're tracking the road conditions for you this morning. On major roads, this is an indication of what they look like. I-40 and Wade Avenue, you can see plenty of pavement. So secondary roads, those neighborhood roads that's still a little bit icy, a little bit slushy. So be careful out there. We're picking up some slight delays, 1 or 2 minutes here and there from Knightdale, maybe coming in from Garner, Johnston County. And that's only because people are just taking it easy, taking their time, getting to their destinations this morning. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. We have breaking news this morning. 2 people are dead and 2 more are seriously hurt after a shooting and possible stabbing in Fayetteville. Police say they were called out to this home off Hope Mills Road around 9:30 last night. When they arrived, they found 3 people with gunshot wounds. 2 of them were pronounced dead at that scene, and the other was taken to the hospital. Another person with possible stab wounds was also taken to the hospital. WRAL is working to learn if police have any suspects in custody. We are expecting to learn today on if jurors in the Isaiah Ross trial will be returning tomorrow for deliberations. Jurors were dismissed Friday without a verdict, and court was closed today because of the winter storm. When they eventually return, the jurors will decide 2 things: whether Ross is responsible for killing Lyric Woods and if he killed Devin Clark in self-defense. The jury has the option of finding him guilty of first-degree or second-degree murder or voluntary manslaughter. As of the charge of first-degree murder of Lyric Woods, if the jury finds Ross acted in self-defense against Clark, it's likely they will not find Ross killed Lyric Woods.
Well, public schools in our viewing area are either closed or have remote learning today. Traditional calendar students in Wake County already had a teacher workday scheduled for today. The schools in Halifax, Granville, Franklin, Nash, Wilson, and Wayne counties are closed. All other districts will have students learning remotely today.
And taking a look at colleges, NC State, UNC, and NC Central canceled classes for today. We have a full list of closings for businesses and schools scrolling across the bottom of your screen here. You can also find that list on WRAL.com.
Of course, the winter weather also affected air travel. Airlines at RD International are working to get back on track after hundreds of cancellations over the weekend. As we take a live look at RDU this morning, that's where we find WRAL's Destiny Patterson joining us live now. And Destiny, what should people be aware of if they're planning to catch a flight today at RDU?
Well, Ken, I have some good news. Take a look at the board here. We have a green. That means one of the flights here from Atlanta has arrived. Of course, there are still a lot of cancellations that are on the board. FlightAware is reporting just under 100 cancellations at this point, about 96 and 25 delays. So we're not out of the woods just yet. You can see the airport is starting to wake up just a little bit, still pretty quiet in here. But there are a lot of people who are frustrated. You know, they've been dealing with travel woes for the past couple of days.
So I had to come down last minute. They literally told me last Thursday. And I just wanted to check the defroster in the vehicle, see how well it's going to defrost it. Because up north in the wintertime, they put ice scrapers in your cars, in your rental cars, and down here they don't.
So he actually flew in earlier this week and he had to come to the area for work. But here at RDU, I mean, like I said, things are starting to wake up a little bit. We've seen crews working hard in both the parking lots and at the gates, making sure that these flights can take off and come back in here safely. Of course, you should check in with your airline. They're going to be the ones to tell you whether your flight is delayed, canceled, or taken off on time. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live at RDU.
Some good advice there. Well, happening today, the Walk for Peace heads to Lewisburg on a path to Washington, D.C. The venerable monks left Roseville about 45 minutes ago after they trekked through Raleigh over the weekend. The monks walked in cold, icy temperatures, inspiring the hundreds of people who lined the streets to see them. The monks are expected to arrive in Washington, D.C. by February 11th. Their 2,300-mile walk began in Texas back in October.
Well, we're here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center where that winter storm has moved away from the viewing area, but now we're still dealing with a little bit of the lingering impacts here.
Yep, the roads are still a mess, especially the neighborhood streets, and crews are working hard to get things sorted out for us, but be careful if you're headed out on the roads today. The precip is over. That's the good news. Now we're just kind of waiting on the cold. We have some Arctic air that's going to arrive. Meteorologist Chris Michaels put this together for some helpful tips when dealing with the leftovers from this storm. Sleet is very dense. Maybe if you have like an elderly neighbor, you see them out there shoveling their driveway, go out and help them. It's very dense and very heavy. Ask for help if you need it. Sleet also takes a longer time to melt. It's very dense, so it's going to take some time for this to go away completely. I think we have a couple of mornings to go where we're still going to see some of those icy conditions on some of the side streets and maybe some elevated surfaces as well. And a good idea to try to get the ice off the top of your car. That way, if you're on a highway, you're traveling at a high rate of speed, that ice doesn't go flying out and hit another car behind you. So some very helpful tips that Chris Michaels put together for us this morning. Thankfully, the precipitation is over. It's still fairly cold, but temperatures are right at freezing, if not just above freezing. So melting is happening even though the sun is not out just yet. We have the cloud cover still in place, but we expect clearing skies to occur later on today. A live look at Roxborough, and you can see the roads look pretty good here. You just have to be kind of careful on those turns if you're in downtown Roxborough. So some of those side roads are completely covered. I know some of the neighborhoods are completely covered in some ice and some sleet as well. So be very cautious through the morning hours. We do have a lot of ice still on the roads, especially in the neighborhoods. I think we're going to start to see things really improve as we progress through the day with the sun coming out. But here's what we're tracking next. It's going to be fairly breezy today. We have another front that's going to move through. Winds are going to pick up, so it's going to be gusty. And some of these tree limbs are going to be fairly weak now that we've had some ice on them. So we could see some limbs come down, maybe some spotty power outages. Arctic air will arrive overnight tonight. It's guaranteed. And we do have the concern that we have the potential for some outages. Again, with those gusty winds, we could see some trees coming down, some limbs coming down that are weak from some of that ice that we had. Here's a look at the wind gusts for today and tomorrow. So wind gusts anywhere from 20 to maybe 30 miles per hour each day. So both days will be fairly gusty. And temperatures are going to drop. So today, temperatures will climb to the upper 30s and low 40s this afternoon with the sun coming out. We're going to get a lot of melting in. But by 7 o'clock this evening, that's when our cold weather advisory kicks in. And look at how the lows are going to continue to drop. It is going to be very cold tonight. We're down into the teens starting around 1 o'clock in the morning in and around the triangle. And then by tomorrow morning, single digits and teens for actual air temperatures. When you factor in the wind, it'll feel even colder than that. And then tomorrow afternoon, we'll have full sunshine, a lot of melting. Temperatures are still chilly in the upper 30s to around 40. But the wind chill for tomorrow in the single digits in the morning. It gradually goes up, but I think it's going to be really cold all day. But with the sun and temperatures above freezing, I do think we'll have some melting. But look at tomorrow night, down to 20, and then teens for lows for the next several days. So this is some cold air that's going to stick around for some time, Ken.
All right, Amy, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, I-87 and New Hope Road. This is indicative of all the major routes that we're seeing. You're seeing plenty of pavement, but it's those secondary roads and these elevated surfaces as we look live at I-87 and Bethlehem Road, where we're seeing those icy conditions on those elevated roads. So keep that in mind. If an elevated road or your neighborhood road, those secondary roads like Pool Road, part of your morning commute, still dealing with some icy conditions as you're getting ready to head out this morning. We are picking up some slight delays on all of our major routes, and that's because people are really taking it slow this morning. And that's what we've been encouraging people to do all morning long. Just take it easy. Don't go too fast, because 1 to 2 minutes, whether you're coming in on I-40 eastbound, you're coming in from Apex, even Nightdale, or even Wake Forest, just a 2-minute delay, nothing that's going to make you late. There's been a crash reported right on I-87 between New Hope Road and Rogers Lane, but really we're not seeing any delays in that particular area. Of course, we've got the WRAL Storm Tracker out on the roads, monitoring road conditions for you. We talked about those secondary roads, and this is one of them right here around the Pool Road area. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to check in with Kelsey Coffey and photographer Mark Alexic as they give you a first-hand account of what you can expect. Back in a moment.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. Let's get right over to meteorologist Amy Wilmeth with a look at the latest on this winter storm moving out of the area.
That's right. Some lingering rain along the coast, and that's it. We're done with the precipitation, and that's some good news. We're not done with the icy roads. Some of the roads still are completely covered in some ice, so the winter weather advisory in place until 1 o'clock this afternoon because of that. So still be very careful. A lot of the main roads are looking pretty good. Crews are working hard, but those side roads, the neighborhood roads, still a little icy. You can see some of that here in Apex. The main road looking pretty good, but the side roads off of downtown still fairly icy out there, and this will likely continue as we head into tomorrow morning as well. Ken?
All right, those main roads like you referred to, Amy, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, you can see a lot of pavement. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. So basically, very low traffic volume, which is really good news this time of the morning. Just picking up a 1-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline coming in from Garner-Johnson County, just a 1-minute delay as well. Coming up, we look at some delay times on some other major routes heading into Raleigh at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
We have some breaking news this morning. 2 people are dead and 2 more seriously hurt after a shooting and possible stabbing in Fayetteville. This happened last night at this home off Hope Mills Road. WRAL is working to learn if police have any suspects in this case. All public schools in our area are either closed or learning remote today. Traditional calendar students in Wake County already had a teacher work day. Halifax, Granville, Franklin, Nash, Wilson, and Wayne counties will all be closed, and all other districts will have students learning remotely. Next on Fox 50, the winter storm is over, and we'll take a look at conditions across our viewing area as the sun comes up. And up next on Today, motivational speaker Jim Curtis explains how to upgrade your life.
A lot of updates to get you as we part ways with this winter storm that's been snarling traffic and keeping all of you inside. But we're here to keep you posted. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine. Yeah, you just saw from that live picture some mushy conditions out there impacting the road still. There are tens of thousands of power outages across North Carolina this morning, including outages in Wayne, Wilson, Sampson, Cumberland, and Chatham counties. Secondary roads are icy and slippery, and there are more than 90 flight cancellations at RDU this morning. That's, of course, according to FlightAware.
And we have team coverage to help you get back on track because of the cold temperatures that we will be experiencing. Let's get right over to meteorologist Amy Wilmeth in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking it all for us.
Well, luckily, we're done with the precipitation. A little bit of rain along the North Carolina coast, and that is it. We'll have clearing skies throughout the day today. Already, we have some melting taking place, and that will just continue as the sun comes out and temperatures climb. We still have a winter weather advisory in place until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Roads are still bad in many locations. Main roads are looking pretty good, but the neighborhood streets, some of those side roads are still totally covered in ice. This is a live look at Sanford down in Lee County, and the main road looks pretty good. The sidewalks are covered in ice, so be careful if you're headed out and about. But again, the main roads, the crews are working really hard to kind of clear out some of that sleet. 32 right now in Raleigh, so we're sitting right at freezing still. That temperature hasn't budged much. It's going to warm up a little bit today, upper 30s for highs, but it's breezy. That sun comes out and really helps to do some melting for us. And then a cold weather advisory in place for tonight. I'll show you how cold it will get town by town coming up, Ken.
All right, Amy, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Amy talked about the main roads looking rather decent. You're seeing plenty of pavement right now, but the problem in the secondary roads. Let's get to a WRAL Storm Tracker check-in with Kelsey Coffey, photographer Mark Alexic. You guys are on a secondary road there in eastern Wake County. What are you seeing?
Ken, we just stepped out the storm tracker about 2 minutes ago, and this is the site that we're seeing here on Pool Road in Knightdale. Icy conditions. Really, this entire street looks like a sheet of ice. Not really seeing too much traffic here in this area, but I will say that Pool Road is probably some of the worst conditions that we've seen so far this morning. We've traveled through Raleigh, Durham, and Cary in the storm tracker this morning. We noticed that the interstate, for the most part, was clear. It looks like all of those roads had been treated, but it's these secondary roads like here at Pool Road that could be causing some issues. So, Ken, what can you tell folks if they have to head out on a morning drive? It's
so important to be careful, particularly on those secondary roads, those neighborhood roads, those elevated surfaces, because we're still seeing that slushy, icy mix as well. Right now, we're picking up some minor delays on all of our major routes, and that's because people are just taking it easy this morning, trying to get to their destinations safely. A 1-minute delay everywhere you look, coming in on I-40 eastbound from Apex, from Wake Forest, Knightdale, coming in from Garner, Johnston County. Nothing really that's going to make you late. But again, you're getting ready to head out this morning. If you have to head out, just take it easy. Drive it slower than you usually do, just so you can get to your destination safely. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
And please keep us tuned in all morning long. I do want to show you here right now to get you a look at the outage situation that we have here on this map. You'll see that most of the outages that we're reporting, this is the Duke Energy outage map there. It's mostly out toward the west, but let me zoom in here a little bit to see like around the triangle area. I mean, just little pockets here and there, 27 down there, there's Lillington, 1 in the south eastern part of Raleigh, but nothing too bad there in that regard. But it looks like Duke Energy is tracking more than 34,000 customers total without power. Just one other thing, though, if you're out in the roads, if you do need to be driving and you happen to see a utility crew, give them a little extra space, because this is something that they were telling us this week that really helps them, because if they have the max amount of space, they can work safely, and that means you're kept safe.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Well, all public schools in our area are either closed or learning remote today. Traditional calendar students in Wake County already had a teacher workday. Halifax, Granville, Franklin, Nash, Wilson, and Wayne counties will all be closed. All other districts will have students learning remotely. NC State, UNC, and North Carolina Central have also canceled classes for today. A full list of closings for businesses, schools, and churches can be found on WRAL.com.
Well, downtown Raleigh is still dealing with some slushy, icy road conditions. That's where we find WRAL's Heidi Kirk, along with photographer Michael Joyner, working on conditions for us. And we've been seeing you all morning long. One thing, do you have your gloves?
I do. I only lost my gloves for one live hit this morning, and I'm so glad to have them back. And I'll mention the very sidewalk that I'm standing on was completely iced over this morning whenever we were standing there several live hits ago, and we had a crew come through and completely clear it. But I want to show you what some of the side streets look like. I'm going to have my photographer give you a look. This is right off of Peace Street near Seaboard Station. It's pretty icy. It's that slush we've been telling you about all morning long. But take a look at Peace Street. Obviously, this is a major route through this area, and the snowplows were out here around 4 a.m. this morning, y'all. This is so early to make sure that this route was cleared. You can actually see some of the video that we captured in the early hours of the morning as those crews were out here making sure that this road could be clear for the drivers who are coming through this morning. Now, we are starting to see the traffic pick up a little bit right now. And I'll mention that, these people, they're taking it slow, they're being cautious, and that is definitely good news because, as we've been telling you, it's really block by block as to what it looks like. The secondary roads, the side streets may not be clear yet, while some of the major thoroughfares, the plows hit early this morning. Of course, we'll continue monitoring all of the conditions and bringing you the latest all morning long. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Heidi, thank you. So now let's head to Orange County, where the sheriff says that much of the roads are still covered in ice and some secondary roads have a layer of snow. Monica Casey is live there this morning. And Monica, what are you seeing right now?
Laura, we are on 40 right now. Let me flip the camera around so you can see what we are seeing. We are heading from Chapel Hill up to Hillsborough, and as you can see, 40 looks quite good. Over on our side of the road, we've actually been the only car over here for the 5 to 7 minutes we've been on the road. You can see there is some traffic moving in the other direction, but really not a lot, not what you'd expect for about 8:40 in the morning on a Monday. We are also taking it a little more slowly than we normally would on a highway, just because you never know if there could be some clear ice because of how cold it is right now. Now, the sheriff's social media post for Orange County did say a lot of the secondary roads are a problem here, and so that's why we are heading up to the Hillsborough area to see what we can find up there. When we were in Chapel Hill, we were seeing it was kind of every other road had been plowed. Some looked great and some looked impassable. So it really just depends on where you are. You can't assume that the roads are going to be clear for you to get to your destination. So like Ken said, if you have to be out, you've got to give yourself lots of extra time this morning. Live on I-40, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
All right, Monica, appreciate that. Of course, stay connected to WRAL's minute-by-minute updates. Even if you lose power, watch us on television, online, monitor our social media pages, and of course, download the WRAL News app. Make sure you have breaking news and weather alerts turned on to get important alerts sent right to your phone.
8:38 on your Monday morning. Johnson County roads. We'll take a look at what conditions look like right now.
Also, Super Bowl 60 all set. Two longtime rivals headed to the big game. Why this matchup has fans buzzing.
And here's a live look outdoors, taking a live look at Chapel Hill. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth has the latest on the cold weather advisory.
Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in for Elizabeth just for a little bit. Here's a look at some of the weather headlines. Cold weather advisory in effect tonight through Tuesday. It is going to be very cold tonight. The precipitation is over. We're done with it for now, turning drier and a little bit breezy through the day. We'll do a lot of melting today. This is a live look at Fenton and Cary. You can still see the sidewalks there just totally covered in some of that sleet, some of that ice. It's just going to take some time for it to melt because it was sleet, very dense. It just takes a while for all of that to melt. But we'll get some melting done. Temperatures right at freezing, if not just a little bit above or a little bit below across the viewing area right now, sitting at 32 in Raleigh, 34 degrees now in Fayetteville. And temperatures will go up a little bit more. We will have a little bit of sunshine. It's pretty cloudy right now, but with the sun coming out, temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s across most of the area, we will get in a lot of melting throughout the day today. Look at this Arctic air. This is what's headed our way overnight tonight. We'll get down into the single digits and teens. We'll talk about how cold it gets in your area coming up, Ken.
All right, Amy, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're looking live at I-40 and Wade Avenue. And this is really indicative in terms of the pavement that you're seeing on all of our major routes this morning. So we're experiencing very low traffic volumes, so which is really good news. These are the eastbound lanes coming toward us into the Raleigh-Wade County area. But those secondary roads, those are the roads that you really need to be aware of, like Pool Road, Kildare Farm, that type thing. Just be mindful that it's still some slushy, icy conditions on those secondary roads. But picking up some slight delays on our major routes this morning, 1 to 2 minutes, depending on where you're coming from. Durham, where you come from, Knightdale, Garner, Johnston County, Wake Forest. And that's because people are just taking it easy, taking the time to get to their destinations. We'll keep monitoring it for you here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
Okay, Ken, thank you. Well, the roads across our viewing area have been slick and icy from the sleet and freezing rain from over the weekend. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar is in Johnston County this morning. And Ali, do road conditions where you are right now, are they improving?
They are what we're seeing right now, especially on the highways. This is US 70 Business East. And as you can see, people aren't really taking it slow. They probably should, but we are seeing that the highway is pretty clear. There's slush on the side, so be aware of any icy spots. Now, here's something I do want you to be aware of. Within the past hour, I saw a line of ice that was coated around one of these utility lines just all fall to the ground. Luckily, it didn't hit anyone. No one was underneath it, but it's something that you need to be aware of. We just heard Amy mention it. Things are melting. We're really starting to see it from the trees right here. And so once it melts, that ice could fall down. So make sure you're cautious of where you're parking your car, where you're standing, just exactly where you are and what you're under. But as for Johnston County, what we're seeing, some of those side roads are a little slick, so be careful. We're going to keep you updated. Reporting live in Smithfield, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Of course, the winter storm is moving out, but it affected air travel. Airlines out at RD International are working to get back on track after hundreds of cancellations over the weekend. Let's get right to WRAL's Destiny Patterson. She's live at the airport this morning. And Destiny, what should people be aware of if they have to take a flight today?
Ken, so we have been keeping a very close eye on the cancellations. Take a look at the board here. There are still quite a few cancellations on the board, but we have seen some people actually land very smoothly here at RDU. The thing that has continued to climb throughout the morning is delays. Delays are now at 34, and that jumped from about 20 earlier this morning. Of course, it's much quieter here at RDU as they're trying to get things back on track. But in the cycle of cancellations, I have talked to a couple of passengers who have had quite the frustrating experience.
That flight got canceled, so we were able to rebook for this morning. And then we were on our way here, and we got notified that our flight was canceled again. So we rebooked, and now we're just waiting for that.
Hopeful, but not quite optimistic. That has been the tone from that family that I spoke with and a couple of other travelers. Others, though, they tell me that they are expecting things to be back on track today. So it's kind of a mixed bag. You'll definitely want to check in with your airline. And of course, we will keep you updated here. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live at RDU.
You know, we are tracking flights elsewhere across America right now. Let me kind of show you this misery map from FlightAware. A lot of red over in New York. No surprises there. Same with D.C. and Boston. Again, this system that they're dealing with up there obviously affecting flights. We're looking at about 357 total delays from FlightAware's misery map and more than 1,000 cancellations. So not particularly good. Here closer to home, over in Charlotte where the map shows you, you'll see that there are a significant amount of cancellations and delays there as well. So just a reminder, yes, the last couple of days over at RDU, they were dealing with the de-icing and stuff like that and the flights that were delayed and the cancellations and such. But this is why it's such a good reminder that if you have a flight scheduled, look at the app, whoever airline that you're going with, they'll usually update you to let you know what's been happening with your flight. Turn those push notifications on. That way you're not caught off guard.
A historic snowball fight canceled.
And the matchup for Super Bowl 60 all set. Here's a look at what's trending. The New England Patriots will take on the Seattle Seahawks in 2 weeks. The Patriots beat the Denver Broncos 10-7, partially in a wintry mix to win the AFC. The Seahawks defeated the Los Angeles Rams 31-27 to win the NFC and punching their ticket to the big game. This will be the Patriots' first Super Bowl appearance in 7 years and the Seahawks' first appearance in 11 years. You can watch Super Bowl 60 right here on WRAL, February 8th.
Yeah, these teams met back in 2015. The New England Patriots won that game. An annual snowball fight tradition in our nation's capital, sadly, will not happen. The Washington, D.C. Snowball Fight Association had planned the event for yesterday around 11 o'clock in the morning on the National Mall. They tried to move it up to the 9 o'clock hour to avoid the sleet, but they ended up canceling it anyway. Now, despite that, people still turned out to the Washington Monument to throw a few snowballs or two. Well, Olympic snowboarding legend Shaun White took advantage of this weekend's winter storm. White spotted snowboarding over people in Central Park Sunday. He even jumped over actors Shane Gillis and Chris O'Connor.
Well, happening today, the Walk for Peace is heading to Lewisburg on their way to Washington, D.C. Yesterday, the group of Buddhist monks left Raleigh and walked through Roseville before stopping in Wake Forest, traveling in cold temperatures and ice. The monks are expected to arrive in D.C. by February 11th. Their 2,300-mile walk began in Texas back in October. And happening here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, we know that they were dealing with some really rough conditions yesterday. It was so cold.
It was so cold. And, they have some very cold temperatures that they're going to be walking in the coming days.
Yes.
Take a look at this, too. We just had a caller from Durham that said the roads are really bad in the Rougemont community. And if you look at downtown Durham, these roads still have quite a bit of ice on them. So be very careful. That's why we have the winter weather advisory in place until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Be very careful on the roads. Not all of them are cleared, especially the side roads, the neighborhood roads. They're still pretty covered in some ice. This is a live look at Franklinton. Looks like that main road looks pretty well removed of some of the sleet and some of the ice, but again, the side roads certainly still a bit of a mess. So take it easy out there. Temperatures right now are at freezing or just a little bit above in most locations. So we are seeing some melting. Our reporters are showing that in their live shots. What's next for us? We're tracking some very cold Arctic air, and it comes with some gusty winds today. Winds gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour. That cold air will settle in overnight tonight. It will be bitterly cold. And with the gusty winds today, we could see some spotty outages. Some of those branches that have some ice on them are a little bit weak, and so they could come down on some power lines. We could have some outages. We hope not, because it's going to be so cold overnight tonight. Here's a look at futurecast temperatures. So today we'll get into the upper 30s in the Triangle and low 40s in some of our southern communities. The sun will eventually come out a little bit more this afternoon, so we'll do some melting throughout the day today. And then the cold air arrives. The cold air advisory starts at 7 o'clock this evening. We're already in the upper 20s in the Triangle. We're down into the teens starting around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and the temperature will continue to drop. By tomorrow morning at around 7 o'clock, we're down to about 12 in Raleigh, single digits perhaps in some of our northern communities closer to Virginia. And then full sunshine tomorrow, another day of some melting. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 30s in and around the Triangle tomorrow afternoon. Look at the wind chills right now with this Arctic air. It feels like minus 29 in Minneapolis. It's not going to feel that cold here, but we will be pretty cold tomorrow. This is the wind chill hour by hour tomorrow in the single digits, maybe even lower than that in some of our northern communities, maybe below zero in some spots. It still feels like 10 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning, still feels like 19 at 11 o'clock, and it'll feel like upper 20s in the afternoon. So tomorrow is a very cold day when you factor in the gusty winds. So we have a weather alert day today. We still have some icy roads. We'll still have icy roads tomorrow morning with temperatures like that. And a lot of the neighborhood streets, some of those side roads are still going to be pretty slick tomorrow morning. We'll get up to about 40 in the afternoon. And then Wednesday is dry. Thursday is dry. Temperatures are still cold in the mid 30s in the afternoon, lows down into the teens. Now, something that Chris and Elizabeth just added to the 7-day, we went ahead and added some snow icons to Saturday and Sunday. I know that's not anything that anybody wants to see, but the models are trending in that direction, and we're watching those trends. We can't give you specifics right now. It's still really far out there, but just know we're watching it very carefully for you, Ken.
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We'll start outside, give you a look at I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Very low traffic volume this morning, but this is indicative of what we're seeing on all of our major routes. A lot of pavement, meaning those roads free and clear in terms of the major roads. So secondary roads, those county roads, Amy just talked about Rougemont in northern Durham County. Those roads still really icy and slushy this morning, so be careful out there. But really and truly, very little to no delays on that southern loop of the Beltline. You're coming in from Garner, Johnston County, very little delays to report. So the delays that we are picking up really are for people just taking it easy this morning, taking their time, getting to their destinations. And that's what we're really encouraging you to do, because even though the major roads are clear, once you get off those major roads and maybe you're going to a secondary road like Poole Road, those are still icy conditions that we're dealing with. So a 1 minute delay, you're coming in from Durham, you're coming in from Apex, Wake Forest, Nightdale, from Garner, Johnston County, just a 1 minute delay. delay this morning coming in to Raleigh. Similarly, over in Durham, this is what we're seeing. Those delays really are people just taking their time this morning. Right now, you're looking at a 3-minute delay if you're coming in I-40 eastbound, traveling in from Chapel Hill. 501, you're looking at just a 1-minute delay. But again, northern Durham County, we're hearing that a lot of those areas like Rougemont, those roads are still really slushy. If you're taking Highway 98 out of Wake Forest this morning to Durham, you're looking at a 3-minute delay. Of course, you're getting ready to head up the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
And before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on the weather and traffic next.